programming web applications by just talking to artificial intelligence. This weekend marked the biggest artificial intelligence experiment thus far. The AI passed. I did not write any code to create a precious computer program. Some people would be willing to pay up to $20 a month for its use, though I think a fair price is $6 to $9 at most. Programmers say that they end up fixing too many bugs, that the AI is not that good. But it just may be that the opposite is the truth. The first thing that came to my mind when I began is to use the MDN code conventions. That just means write in the style of programmers that teach and understand web technologies. MDN is short for Mozilla Developer Network. Those are the folks that create the Firefox browser. Here, I usually tell AI to keep things lightweight and simple, but this was not the case. There is something I did that may be rather unusual, and I want to explain what it is. This program is an image slicer. It cuts images that contain a border motif, like picture frames, and it divides them into 3x3 grid, leaving the corners alone, but stretching and repeating the middle tiles. This allows me to slice a picture frame, for example, and then resize it without too much distortion or stretching. This program is specifically made for pixel art. This is that mosaic style with jagged edges that you see in old computer games. To make my cuts precise, I have to zoom in, and that also means panning or moving side to side and up and down. The following is an example of how AI can do the programming, and you just sit there doing all the steering and checking for bugs. I tackled pan and zoom first. It is a well-known pattern, and I told the AI to follow industry-standard solutions. But to keep it lightweight and make it into a standard reusable web component. The buttons you often see on a website are standard components. This is a bit of an odd request because most people would not make the division between pan and zoom and the slicer. They would just tell their AI to create a single application where they can slice images and pan and zoom at the same time. That is not fair for the AI. We wouldn't ask that of programmers. We would want clear divisions and reusable components, not a pile of spaghetti code. I specifically told the AI I want to take any web page in the world, wrap it into the pan and zoom element, and get the ability to pan around and zoom into details of any design. I did not clearly explain where we would be headed with this. I just told it to monitor the mouse move event and re-emit a pan-zoom mouse move. If there is something draggable in a web page, it can't move by a single pixel anymore. That pixel has to be multiplied by pan-zoom scale. The thing that I kept from AI is a simple event interception framework, though I hope for it to become a large-scale rewrite of all the things that calculate pixels. So they all take scale and often the X and Y offset of pan under consideration. It's about changing the guts of a web page so that nothing will need to know it's under pan and zoom. All the events and most of the measurements are simply altered to reflect the valid offset and scale values, and that means all the drag and drop is going to automatically work everywhere. This is a brutal request for humans and a fantastic little task for AI, because it has a skeleton to work with, a scaffold of existing events and measurement functions. I really mean it. It is depressing for humans, as in, why should we be re-implementing all of this? And happy for AI, because in its powerful brain that never forgets, It knows where all the pixels need updates. With pan and zoom taken care of in a wonderfully generic fashion, I moved on to the image slicer. I said, I will bring in a pixel art user interface, and I need to slice it in multiple places. And then I told it something that scared even me, made me very uncomfortable. Create a widget that is a resizable, draggable rectangle that selects an area for slicing, and then insert an inner rectangle that is also resizable and draggable, but only within the confines of the outer rectangle. I did not need to say much more than this. The AI understood that the center square is used to calculate the 3x3 grid. I really want to be melodramatic here. It felt like I was not in control, like the whole world was not just ours anymore, but it belonged to something greater. The results had very simple mistakes. AI had trouble calculating borders, and that's it. In a leading graphics application, we select everything inside the rectangular outline. But I did not make that clear because I did not think that far ahead. The AI, wisely or bravely, stopped blindly following my instructions and rewrote that portion of the program to pull out all the numbers and give them proper names and constants. It simply started treating the border width and height integers with special care. And it worked on the first try. It took me time to understand everything and test it, but there were no mistakes. A single stray border outside of the math threw us both off for a moment, but once I created a precise test image for testing everything else, I started testing every border in the web page, and I found the bug fast. The AI took care of details like turning off anti-aliasing to get rid of any blurs, creating cute little drag handles that make the app look neat and tidy. And it worked non-stop and tirelessly until the quota monitor on the server told us both to take a chill pill. I went to sleep for 8 hours, worked out for 3, and then sat down to write this text. What have we learned from all this? Choose a programming style or convention, something large and popular. This will avoid all the spaghetti code. MDN is a pretty safe choice. Tell the AI to create web components, as that creates separate little programs that take care of their own business. And if you can divide your project like I did, with pan and zoom on one end, and then the slicer being a separate application, I think you must. You can't just ask the AI to build a slicer with zoom, or all the parts of your application in a single spot. You have to wisely and strategically divide so that your AI can conquer